Inquisitor. This time around. Last time we looked at my bounty hunter. So today we're gonna play as a Sith. Now, I haven't played through my Sith Inquisitor in a little while, hence why he's only level 16. But we do level up in this video as well. If you enjoy the video, if you like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Always helps out the channel. As well, I'm just going to be eating some Spam and some Ritz crackers. One of my kind of little, like a snack lunch, really. Something I actually enjoy. A lot of people probably think that's probably a little weird or gross because it's Spam, and I find Spam, it's kind of one of those things where you either like it or you hate it. There's no in between. But I'm one of those people that really likes it. But yeah, while we play through today, I'm just going to be talking a little bit and rambling, I guess, about Star Wars, but this time more about Star Wars video games. Whereas last time I kind of went on a little bit of a rant or ramble about the movies. So this time I thought it's only fair to talk about the games, because you know, as part of the name of the channel, I'm the Savvy Gamer. I consider myself a gamer, and I love Star Wars. So I love Star Wars video games. This being one of them, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I just have a glass of water here too, so that's what I'm drinking. When you hear any drinking water sounds, whatever. But yeah, this is not the first Star Wars game I ever played. I believe the first one that I ever actually played, it was either on the Game Boy Advanced. I believe it was either Lego Star Wars, I think it was Lego Star Wars The Phantom Menace, I think. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But it was one of the Lego Star Wars games on Game Boy.
It's an honor to serve.
And the other one was the Attack of the Clones game that came out on the Game Boy Advanced. Not the Lego one or anything like that, but just the standard Attack of the Clones. I believe that was one of the first ones I played. Because my Game Boy, I believe, was the first thing I ever had for like a gaming system. And then I got my PlayStation 1, or the original PlayStation, after that. I got a lot of them for Christmas. You know, my Santa gifts. But my mom has been one of the big reasons that I've been able to continue being such, a gamer and kind of being part of the game community and all that. Because every year or two I'd get a new system whenever they came out. I started out with a Game Boy and a PlayStation, and then I think I got a Nintendo DS. I can't remember the order exactly, but I basically got like a Game Boy, a DS, started with the original PlayStation, then got a PS2, then flipped from PS2 to Xbox 360, but I did have a Wii as well, and then went from 360 to PlayStation 4, and now I've got a gaming PC and a PS5. I got those myself, my PC and my PS5. But leading up to those, my mom was the big reason that I was able to keep going.
Greetings, my lord. The Bounty Brokers Association.
But yeah, so I'm definitely very lucky.
An acceptable method for bounty contract resolutions. If you are still interested in pursuing one of our bounty,
I have had many Star Wars games since I started playing them.
you may review available assignments at the terminal nearby.
One of my favorite ones that I played was Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you get to play as Jango Fett. That one was such a great game. A lot of it, I don't know if any of it, now that I recall, followed the movies. But if I'm correct in saying this, I believe Tamara Morrison voiced Jango for that game as well. Just like he did for Star Wars Battlefront 2. The old one, the 2005 one. But that was such a great game. What was another one? Republic Commando. And Jedi Starfighter. And that was a pretty good one, but Republic Commando I think was ahead of its time. Being able to do like that, where you can command your squad and have that squad kind of combat was super, super cool, in my opinion. And yeah, now I do have Republic Commando on my PS5, so I do play it from time to time. What's another one? Okay, so episode 3, like Revenge of the Sith, basically like the movie adaptation game. It was super fun. We got to play as Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda. You can play as a bunch of different characters in some of the multiplayer as well. The multiplayer was primarily just like a 1v1, but it was still cool. Followed the story and like from the movie of Revenge of the Sith, while adding in different kind of background levels and things you wouldn't have seen in the movie. And some things got changed as per how they happened in the movie, but probably for good reason. I think one of my favorite parts actually of the Revenge of the Sith game is like it's not necessarily part of like the story or the campaign. It's kind of like a bonus duel where it's old Ben Kenobi against Vader on the Death Star from A New Hope, which was pretty fun. I thought that was kind of neat how they put that in there. But, yeah, that was another one that I kind of grew up with. Let's see, what else was there? Okay, so Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2, with the classic ones. When I played the first Star Wars Battlefront, I thought it was pretty cool. Because you could play, as clones or droids or like the Empire or the Rebels. But there were also planets that, I don't think were in the movies at all. Like Ramble was one of them. It was like an icy planet, I think, from the first Battlefront. Now, if I do recall, there wasn't really like an actual campaign for the first Battlefront game. I think it was more just like the Galactic Conquest, where you could pick a faction and then try to basically take over the whole galaxy. Whereas with Battlefront 2, which in my opinion is one of the, if not the best Star Wars game ever made. It had like a full-blown like campaign where you played as the clones of the 501st Legion. And you kind of follow the storyline a little bit of Revenge of the Sith. It's basically like I think they call it the Fall of the Republic or the Rise of the Empire, where it basically is leading up to the events of Revenge of the Sith and like Anakin turning to the dark side and Order 66 and all that. So it's kind of neat to see it from the clones' perspective. As well, getting to see them as stormtroopers, like when they change from clones basically into the new stormtroopers for the Empire. And just the space combat was pretty fun. The ground combat, the heroes you get to play as, like with the Jedi. We're getting to play as Boba Fett, or Han Solo, or Princess Leia. That was all pretty neat. I do have some videos on the channel of playing through that campaign. If you guys want to check them out, they're some of the first videos I posted. Another one that I think is a very, very well done for its time, because it is an older game, is the Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, where you get to like make your own Jedi based on your choices, like some choices through the game, and how you use your force powers and develop them and stuff. Could mean you play a light or a dark side playthrough, which I thought was very neat. That's kind of a unique story, and the lightsaber combat was pretty fun, and it's unique. If you're playing it on PC, it's like directional. So depending on which way you kind of swung the mouse, I guess, it would kind of change the way and what saber strike you were gonna do, which was neat. Plus you have blasters and grenades, or thermal detonators and mines and stuff. So it was very, very well done, very put together. The voice acting was pretty well done too, for being that, that age and that old of a game. Now, I guess I will kind of move on and talk about probably next to Battlefront 2, one of the most popular game or games in the Star Wars kind of gaming world.
Officer Manners, I presume. What is this madness about a Sith Lord turning common criminal?
And that
You're
being
a contractor. I mean no disrespect.
Knights of the Old Republic 1
You're kind
and
of
2.
full of all manner of surprises. Lord Trot's extremely ambitious, even for a Sith. I know. I used to work with her regularly.
Now,
Somewhere along the way, her thirst for power became
one of...
She overthrew a prominent crime syndicate.
This is why I said earlier with Battlefront 2 that it is one of potentially the best Star Wars games ever made. Because Knights of the Old Republic
Where do your credits come from?
is another very, very, very good and like amazing game.
Take care of these
For being
outsiders who would dare thumb
like
their
the age it
noses
was
at the
made,
Empire's absolute power.
and
See to it that you're properly compensated.
how well done it was. Now, Knights of the Old Republic, excuse me, was developed by BioWare. And for those of you who know who BioWare is, they made games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So they definitely have some very good games since Knights of the Old Republic. Now, it is not necessarily turn-based. It's kind of like I guess settle on the same idea kind of as if you think of it like D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, where depending on your skills in combat, you have the potential to hit or miss based on your skills, dice roll boosts and stuff, based on essentially like a dice roll or a percentage chance. And you have certain attacks and abilities and things like that, depending on your proficiency with certain weapons and lots of factors that take into account. As well, the story is pretty put together. You know, it's set in the era of, well, the Old Republic, obviously, but it's like the Sith Jedi like conflict. Now, you've got characters like Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and Bastila Shan, and you know, from that age. But like I said, in my opinion, the story is very well done for, the time. And I do believe that I've only played through it once, so it's not like I've played a bunch of different playthroughs or anything on different classes or anything. But it is pretty comparative to games kind of like basically BioWare's like Dragon Age, but also to like Dungeons and Dragons a little bit. It's one of those games that has, it's a very high caliber game for what it is. Now, there is, and has been for a while, talks of KOTOR getting remastered, and having the remastered edition, or all that kind of stuff, basically. As a lot of games have been getting remasters. But this is one that definitely deserves one. Especially, in my opinion, with how I thought the sequel, that how KOTOR 2, the Sith Lords, kind of dropped the ball because it was unfinished when it was released. There was still a lot of, rough around the edges, a lot of things to be worked out, as well as so much content that was cut from it when it released. There is actually a mod. It's like the KOTOR 2 restored content mod or something, where essentially a bunch of the content that was cut from the original release is brought back to kind of actually complete the story and fill in some plot holes and stuff like that, which is definitely great. For those of you that played KOTOR 2, let me know in the comments, if you've made it this far into the video, what you thought about KOTOR 2. What kind of playthrough did you play? Did you stay light side, dark side? And what did you think overall of the game? Did you think it was as bad as others? Or did you think it was still fair? Let me know what you thought about it. I personally, I don't think it was the worst game ever, but it definitely should have had more time before its full release. So moving on from Knights of the Old Republic, I might touch on it a little bit later in the video. For now, we're going to move on from it. The LEGO Star Wars games were another big part of my childhood growing up. Playing from, the original LEGO Star Wars to all the way up to the new one, the Skywalker saga. I've pretty much played them all. The only one I don't think I played was the Clone Wars one. I think it was LEGO Star Wars 3. But I do plan on playing it someday. I remember when I first played with the original LEGO Star Wars.
There's nothing.
It was kind of funny because there was no voice acting. It was just kind of like the grunts, and you tried to figure out by facial expression and that kind of stuff. I thought it was kind of cool. It was fun. And it was fun. Because I believe I played the LEGO Star Wars games before I played any of like the LEGO Batman games. So it was a new thing for me. And to see how far the LEGO Star Wars games have come since the original, it's pretty impressive. And then eventually they started adding actual like voice lines for the characters.
Let me make this clear. I don't know you, and
Which,
I don't talk to anyone I don't know.
for some of it, I think is very, very good.
I'm staying right here until you tell me what I
You know, some of the characters definitely, the voice acting was done well.
I still don't know you, but I gotta respect you. Yeah.
But sometimes I do miss just having the old, you know, grunts and no voice acting and no voiceover on some of the characters. It's kind of a nostalgia thing for me. Excuse me. But yeah, the Lego Star Wars games were very fun for me. Let's see what else. Excuse me. I guess more recently, the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I think they were well done as well. Jedi Fallen Order, I really enjoyed playing it, had a lot of fun with it, and the lightsaber customization I thought was really, really neat. And the customization for the Mantis and for Cal. And the story was good. My biggest gripe about that game was how short it was. Whenever I pre-ordered it, I preloaded it, all that. I started playing it as soon as it came out. I finished it in like, I don't know, like less than 8 hours. And that was doing a lot of, you know, kind of exploring and stuff, trying to get a bunch of the different crates and everything open. So that was a big disappointment for me, was how short that game was. Then with Jedi Survivor, it definitely was longer. They added more to it. And it looks even better as a game now. And I kind of like how they jumped a few years from Fallen Order, in the end of Fallen Order. And how, you know, Cal is now a little bit older, and he's more on his own. He's working with like a smaller band of people on the missions, instead of with Seer and Grease and all them. You still have BD1. He stays with you wherever. But yeah, I liked how they jumped and how things changed a bit, but then eventually you all kind of come back together. I really enjoyed Survivor more than I enjoyed Fallen Order. I did like how they incorporated 2 new lightsaber styles, and how you didn't have to basically remember all of the other ones, all the force powers. You didn't have to try to like relearn them or remember them again. But how they brought in like the cross guard lightsaber and like the blaster lightsaber combo, I thought was neat. And I thought the story was very well done as well. And I'm excited for the next one, because they have said that they are going to be making a 3rd one. So yeah, excited about that. Now, the newer Star Wars Battlefront games, they were definitely good. The first one nice to see almost like a remaster in a way of the original Star Wars Battlefront. And to see like the new graphics and all that and new gameplay. When it first came out, I did play it quite a bit. But I think its biggest downfall was how it was so multiplayer focused. I just thought it definitely needed more of a single player, like a story or a campaign, which they ended up doing in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now I know that there was a lot of hate for Star Wars Battlefront 2 because of kind of like the microtransactions and whatever else, loot crates, whatever, and just there was a lot of negativity surrounding that game. But in the past years, it has improved greatly. Like, I only started getting back into it here maybe a month ago. I started playing with my friends again online. And I have to say, it is way better than when I first played it. It does have a story mode. I did play through the story. But it was okay. It wasn't anything special. But now to be able to play multiplayer and have it at the level it is, it's pretty fun. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I think that this game has also come a long way. Now being like free to play. And just because you're not a subscriber, it has been way more balanced out. Where you're not feeling like you're really at a disadvantage because you're not a subscriber. It still feels like you're actually able to progress with your levels and everything and not have to really grind as crazy when it first came out. Because when it did first come out, there was a lot of people that I feel like, they wanted to play the game without having to, be subscribed to really actually progress and make it worthwhile. Now it is completely different. From the time when I first bought it, when it first came out, to now, there is so much more you can do in the game. There is space combat. There, like, a whole new slew of, like, raids and all that stuff. But also, I think there is a much smaller player base now than it used to be. Like, now it is a very, I think this is more of a niche kind of thing. Like, you don't see a lot of people, at least I haven't seen a lot, playing through. Even when I start a new playthrough with a character, there aren't as many other new players anymore as there used to be. And you don't see as many players around now unless you're on, the space station here. But at the same time, the players that are that you do see, they've been around for a while. A lot of them are fairly high level. But for me, I only started getting back into this recently. I haven't touched it in a while. But now that I have gotten back into it, let's see, we just leveled up there. I am enjoying it more and more every time I play it. Especially like for this feature, how now there's like bounty contracts and targets for people other than just bounty hunters. Like, I'm a Sith Inquisitor. Normally you wouldn't see a Sith Inquisitor taking bounties. Well, mainly because the Sith would probably end up just killing the target instead of actually trying to bring them in alive, which is what happened here. But this game has grown a lot since it first came out, and I am so glad for that. And the new seasons and stuff that come out, and the new updates and everything, like some of the cinematic and trailers and stuff, they're so well done. And the voice acting, like to have fully voiced characters, like even just random NPCs that aren't even like key or relevant to your playthrough or your story. They all have voice lines you can walk up if you click on them. Sometimes they'll actually have voice lines, which I think is pretty neat. Instead of just having a silent protagonist, like in Knights of the Old Republic. And the different storylines and everything, how you can literally play a story differently from light side to dark side. Like, yes, the missions will all be the same if you played a light side or dark side, let's say Inquisitor. But how things can change, and your companions can change and stuff based on how you play, I think that's pretty neat. Which is why I came back. I hadn't played in probably a year or more, and then came back, and I'm just enjoying it a lot more now. And now that I'm a lot more knowledgeable in like the Star Wars lore and stuff like that, I think it does make a big difference. Not that you have to know the lore to play, but I just think it's very it helps, and you can kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Immerse yourself a little bit more because you know the lore. And I just think it's a great game. Now, moving on from the Old Republic, one game that I think it's definitely got an even smaller player base now, and I think very, very few people actually still play it, is Star Wars Squadrons. I think Squadrons, I think it's a good game. It reminds me a lot of Ace Combat, but basically like a Star Wars version of Ace Combat. And there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed it. I played through it. It's pretty fun. I tried the multiplayer, but it's just not for me. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. I could be wrong, but the only time I play Star Wars Squadrons now is to just kind of play through the story a little bit from time to time, even though I've already played through the whole thing. It's just kind of fun to revisit, but I don't touch touch the multiplayer anymore, and I don't think there's probably a lot of people on the multiplayer anymore. But it's kind of fun. You get to customize your pilot for the Rebels and for the Empire. And you can customize your loadouts and stuff for your starfighter, the same as you kind of could in Ace Combat. But yeah, it was a decent story. The gameplay was pretty fun. The objectives were mostly different throughout the story. So it didn't feel like it got super repetitive. Sometimes it would when you just had to shoot down starfighters as the objective, but sometimes then you were given, like take down a cruiser or attack like a Star Destroyer or whatever, which is kind of fun. It made it nice because it changed it up a bit. Now there's a game that it's an older game, but I remember I played the absolute shit out of this game. Haven't played it in a while, but I plan on making a video or two about it in the near future. But that game is Star Wars Empire at War. That game is so fun. There's space combat, ground combat. You can play as the Empire, you can play as the Rebels, or if you download some mods, like the Fall of the Republic mod, you can play as the Imperials, like the Clone Army, like the Republic and the Separatists, in more of a Clone Wars era. I apologize if you guys can hear that in the background. My roommate has a little countertop dishwasher running. But yeah, Empire at War, super fun game, and I think is underrated now just because I feel like not as many people maybe play it now. I admit I haven't played it in a while, but playing through with the Fall of the Republic mod is so fun. Just because, like, I think everyone at one point wanted to be able to play as the clones and the droids in Empire at War.
I should have known Beskar would.
Like, I bought it through Steam, and now that there's the workshop and everything in the mods that you can actually put on it, you can improve the game so much. The Fall of the Republic mod is super cool. But yeah, that was one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. So, if you get the chance to play it, I'm going to put a link in the comments or in the description for Empire at War, because I'm pretty sure it's on super cheap on Steam, and you guys can play it and get to experience it if you haven't already.
We'll see how you feel.
But yeah, it's very cool. It's similar to some of the Total War games in a way. Same kind of idea, but I think it's got a different take on it. Number one, because you have space and ground combat instead of just mostly stuff on the ground or potentially on like the ocean, depending on which Total War game it is. But there is like voice acting and all that, your narrators, and there's different modes. There's like your campaigns where you can play like through the Empire campaign or the Rebellion campaign, or there's like instant action faction skirmishes, or there's Galactic Conquest where you have to try to take over the galaxy. Those ones can actually be difficult. It's not something you're just gonna do in a couple of hours, unless you're really trying for a speed run. But yeah, it's a super fun game. Like I said, I'm gonna try to post a couple videos about it here in the near future.
Congratulations, by the way. I heard that you found our scientist.
I'm trying to think if there's any other games that I missed that I've played.
There's a problem, and I need your help.
Oh, Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I don't know, I almost forgot those. The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Those are super fun games. I have the first one here on PC, so it's another one I can make some content for. I'm sure I'll probably be able to pick up The Force Unleashed 2, if you guys would want to see that, for pretty cheap on Steam too. They usually have pretty good sales on, pretty frequently. But yeah, I have quite a few Star Wars games on here that I can make content for. So if you guys want to see a lot more Star Wars content, let me know in the comments what games, like what Star Wars games you want to see me play. And if you guys just want to see more Star Wars content in particular, let me know. But yeah, there's so many Star Wars games that are so good that I think people forget about or have moved on from, that I would like to try to be able to bring people back to them, to play them again, or to get back into playing them, or if you haven't played them yet, to start playing them. But yeah, I think for those who are, hardcore Star Wars fans, a lot of these games you've probably played. If not, I recommend playing any or all of the ones that I talked about today. And I apologize. I do have a bag that my Ritz crackers came in, and I kind of meant to add a few tingles through plastic and crinkling of the plastic, but I kind of forgot they were there because I got so in depth and so into talking about these Star Wars games. I hope that's not too loud. But yeah, some of those might have been nice through the video. But you'll get to listen to some of the background audio from the game while I'm kind of doing my ramble. But I think I should stop there before I keep going and keep rambling on. But yeah, tons of Star Wars games to play. Think about picking up one or two of them if you get the opportunity to play some of them. I will link a couple of them in the comments for those of you who have Steam on PC. That way you can pick them up and play them. But we are coming to the end of this Whisper Ramble and this playthrough and gameplay. I just wanted to thank everyone who has supported me thus far and watched my videos, who have commented, who have liked my videos, who have subscribed. I'm over 500 subscribers now. The next thing is just to get my watch hours up so that I can hopefully be eligible for YouTube membership, so that I can start giving you guys some special perks and selling merch and stuff like that. So please, if you are enjoying the content and the channel, please consider subscribing and sticking around and watching through my videos. I appreciate it so much, and it helps out the channel more than you think. Especially likes and comments and stuff like that. It helps the algorithm promote the video. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. And, as always, we will see you in the next video. And remember, tingle on. As always.